So here's a little bit of a close-up. We've zeroed in here on the lodge. You can't now see any more of the villas in the hills up above. Here is the Little Tesuque running through the lodge. Here's Bishops Lodge Road. And what you see here are two old leach fields. These were the original leach fields for the lodge, right on Bishops Lodge Road, somewhat set back from the Little Tesuque, but not by much, basically in the horse paddocks. And the one on top was the oldest leach field. When the lodge expanded and added its residential development and quite a bit more demand, it built a new leach field here with supposedly state-of-the-art septic to handle that demand. So the plan was originally, we're going to take care of this whole community through septic on leach fields. This leach field, according to the lodge, failed almost immediately. The state-of-the-art septic system that was put in 2019 failed, and they have had an enormous waste disposal problem ever since. So to address that waste disposal problem, they decided that what they would do is build a treatment plant located right here, and take that partially treated water and dump it into the Little Tesuque. That's what they were proposing to do as of last June, and seeking an EPA permit to release the effluent into the Little Tesuque. There was a hue and cry within the community. I'm a new resident here, but I'll tell you, I was really impressed and very proud of this community for stepping up so firmly and quickly and uniformly to protest this. Not just getting out in the street, not just circulating mailings, not just reaching out to the media, but putting together a really sound legal strategy and an environmental strategy to deal with this. It was so effective that the lodge, I think, very quickly understood it was on the wrong side of this. It was in an intractably bad position, and they had to, as they called it, pivot. So what did they pivot to? Well, they're not going to dump their effluent into the Little Tesuque. That's what they said. No, we're going to build a new leach field right on the Little Tesuque, and we'll dump it there. We'll just put it on a leach field that is immediately adjacent to the Little Tesuque, situated in alluvial soils that are highly transmissive, with a water table 8 feet to 12 feet below during the snow melt. And we'll dump 30,000 gallons of partially treated effluent right there. So one question is, how stupid do they think we are? Bishops Lodge has water rights that allow it to draw 28 acre-feet of water out of the Little Tesuque. They draw their water up here, well upstream from their leach field. So they're not going to be impacted by this leach field. And they have drinking wells that allow them, and irrigation wells that allow them to extract groundwater. And those wells are located here. This is where those wells are located. And the leach field is here, immediately adjacent to the Little Tesuque. So what do we make of this? Well, the plan that the lodge has is they're going to collect all of the sewage and all the wastewater from 1,000+ people who are situated residentially anywhere from 100 to 700 feet in elevation above this area. They're going to pipe all of that sewage to their treatment plant, and then they're going to partially treat that effluent. We'll get to that in a minute. And they're going to discharge up to 30,000 gallons per day, every day, and it's unclear whether it's 4 months a year or 8 months a year. Looks like the permit says 8 months a year. Into a single 2,500 square foot leach field. In other words, a 50 by 50 foot leach field. That's the size of it.
Hmm.
If you want to see it, just drive over to the lodge, turn in the main gate, and it's under construction right now, right on the Little Tesuque, right on the bank of the Little Tesuque. Then their plan is to expand this leach field to 5,000 square feet, in other words, double the size of it, and discharge 60,000 gallons per day in a phase 2. They keep that always in the footnotes, but it's always there. Where are they doing this? Well, let's go back and look at the leach field. This is a highly vulnerable, hazardous location to build a leach field. It's within a FEMA flood zone. Who builds leach fields in a flood zone? It's immediately adjacent to Little Tesuque Creek. They've made it even closer than their prior leach fields. Put it right next to it. It's on highly transmissive alluvial soils. This whole basin along this creek is nothing but wash coming out of the mountains. These are highly transmissive soils. They are not retentive soils. And the groundwater is 8 to 12 feet below the surface during the winter and spring snowmelt. That is a very shallow water table. There's very little soil between the surface of the leach field and the groundwater, as you'll soon see. And if that's not bad enough, there are hundreds of drinking wells downstream. Doesn't sound like a prime place to put a leach field.